to the Charlotte Roval, where the American GTE Series cars will do battle this evening to try and get through round 4 of the championship. So these guys tonight, a bit of a different sort of track. It's basically, round 1 was Daytona road course. This, in essence, is almost like a little baby mini version of that, but with some more intricate sort of corners, more intricate sort of infield, and will be a very difficult track to sort of overtake. It's going to be a track where these guys have got to plan their overtake 2 or 3 corners in advance. And I think it goes without saying that these guys are really going to want to start trying to maximise their opportunities with the championship, really trying to do the very best they can and get every single last point out of it. The beautiful thing with this track, I think, and the really thing that's going to be special tonight is the intricacy that it is. It's quite slow speed, and it's all about corner exits and maintaining all of your speed to get up onto the straights. And I am joined, as ever, by Casey this evening. Casey, what are you going to be looking forward and looking out for this evening?
I'm going to be looking for those braking zones coming up, especially on the backstretch and coming to that last chicane, coming to start-finish line there. Those, I think, are going to be some of the best passing opportunities these guys are going to have. You're going to be carrying a lot of speed down into those corners, so it's going to be all about who can get in there, slow it down, and keep it under control. So, and I do think that is probably going to be 2 of the best places where these guys can really set up the passes like you would on a normal road course.
Yeah, I think it's right. I think there's only probably 2, maybe 3 sort of very clear and easy overtaking opportunities. As the AMs have just completed their qualifying. That was the last AM. Tonight we're only running a hyperpole as well, which is going to be something that some of these guys haven't experienced there. A couple of guys who are new to the championship, as the last AMs do come through there to complete their timed laps. And we're going to be calling the pros out now to get them. Well, guys, welcome back. Sorry about that. It looks like we're having the night of, shall we say, little gremlins, because I've had some difficulties joining the server, and then we've had this happen here. But hopefully, touch wood, which is an English saying, I suppose, that we're going to be all okay now until the end of the evening. So, guys have just qualified. AMs and pros have all been out and set their times, and now we're going to get the grids sorted to head out on track. and that we're going to bring that to you very shortly. So, guys, welcome back. These drivers are just headed out for their hyperpole. So that is the top 5 of Pro and the top 5 of Am are going out on track right now to try and do battle with each other, just to improve each other's times on there. So we're going to have it's Jeff Applegreen, Jersey Glatt, Christian Furs, Taylor Lane, and William Paisley are the top 5 lap time setters from normal practice. They're out now from the Pro section. And in the AM, we've got James Howard, Daniel Tonio, Lyden Lee, Eric Kaluga, and Michael Kaluga. So they're the top 5 from the amateur division. They're out on track now, who are going to be trying to do battle with each other to try and get some better times in. So we're with Taylor Lane at the minute. Now, Taylor, I believe, was his 2nd or 3rd in the points championship. So Taylor is having a really good run so far. And you can see here, this is the intricate section of the track. This is fairly, this is a point where the car, I've always found, is fairly understeering. You're always waiting for the front to try and really bite into the tarmac and pull you through the apexes of these corners, especially this here, because the track drops away from you, and then you're into a point where you're waiting for the bottom of that to then grip you and then bring you back around. So it's a very intricate track. It's a very sort of, shall we say,
tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's quite tricky. You're always waiting for what you feel is the front end to sort of bite in and do what you want it to do. And Taylor Lane will be looking to really try and get an improvement on his lap time of a 1:14.027, because him and the other top guys in this championship have always been fairly close. But at the minute, he's 7/10 off of Jeff Applegreen. And big news for Jeff Applegreen is he's had a change of car this evening. So he's gone into the BMW M8. He's given up his Porsche and he's gone into an M8, which is there's only 2 M8s in the series. And well, there was only one, now there's 2. So there's Christopher Hamer, who is the promoter of the championship, was in an M8, and now we have Jeff Applegreen as well, running in the M8. And now we're with the 2 of James Howard, who currently is the pole sitter for the amateur class. And let's just see if they can do any better. Jeff Applegreen's first time out was a 1:13.455. Now, Jeff is really banging the curbs. I think you picked up on that, Casey, that he's really driving the car in pretty hard to get onto the curbs. And you can see some damage actually on the left front of that car as he comes through to complete what will be his 2nd lap time.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that, as the stream was down, that you can get away with that in qualifying. If you're just going out there trying to set 1 or 2 really fast laps, that's fine. You can get away with that. But to do it lap after lap, that's really going to affect the handling of the car as you get deeper into the race. So, as they say in Sebring, respect the bumps. Well, here, you definitely got to respect the curbs, because they can either shoot you off one way or another, maybe into a wall, or you can completely damage the nose of the car and potentially end your race. So if you hit them hard enough or at the wrong angle. So
well, Jeff was not able to go any quicker at all. He was actually 7/10 slower than his ultimate best time that he set in the qualifying session. He did a 1:14.002. And I don't think any of these lads, unfortunately, have gone any quicker at all, looking down the order. Let's just see here what Eric Kaluga can do as he comes across the line. Is he going to go any quicker? I think he does, actually, with a 1:14.9, or that was his... Actually, no, he didn't actually... Yes, he did. He did go slightly quicker. He went 4 100ths of a second quicker, but he doesn't do anything on his starting position. So, unfortunately, he will be starting where he was in 12th. And... yeah, Michael Kaluga as well in the Corvette. So they're the two of those guys are brothers running in the same team. Michael's last lap was a 15.506, was an improvement, but again, I don't think he puts him up any higher in the order. So that's that. That is that for qualifying. We are going to be rolling this over to race very shortly. Casey, if you'd like to go through the standings of how they'll be starting, I'm going to set the server up to go into race.
All right. All right, so on poles, Jeff Applegren with a 113.31, Jersey Glack 113.44, James Howard, your leading amateur driver, 113.86, Taylor Lane 113.9 in fourth, Christian Furs rounds out the top five with a 114.02, William Paisley had a 114.117, Daniel Tenorio with a 114.243 in seventh. Tom Mastakis in eighth with a 114.282. Ninth is Jacob Schneider with a 114.663. 10th place, Andrew Hewson with a 114.821. Lyden Lee in 11th with 114.84. Eric Kalaga with a 114.906 in 12th. Joe Jr. in 13th, 115.365. Excuse me. 15th is Steven Martinez with a 115.972. 16th, Greg Edney with a 118.079. And the last driver to set a time, Kyle Fredrickson, 17th with a 118.371.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting lineup tonight. Unfortunately, we are a little bit down on drivers, but I think there has been some technical gremlins behind the scenes in the world of iRacing in regards as it says that you need to own all the content when you go into servers, and some guys have been thrown a little bit out by that. So we are a little bit down on numbers tonight, but I'm sure these guys are going to be putting in one hell of a show and really trying to maximise their opportunity in the championship. And of course, the top spot of each class will receive at their doorstep a RacingSimRigs GT1L rig, which is of a value of about £500. So they really are racing for something special out here. And this championship does have, shall we say, a degree of background stuff that happens to it in regards to protests and penalties that always do have an effect on the finishing positions. And any contact that's made, any sort of, shall we say, race impeding contact that's made to another driver, they have the right to protest that. They have the right to get that sort of contact, should we say, reviewed by an independent steward who puts a lot of time in and also works on our GT3 series as well, which is the RSR World Series. So we do a lot of behind the scenes with this championship, as that's a nice shot there to see all the cars lined up ready to go out. And Jeff Applegreen will be taking them away into the start. And it's going to be quite an interesting start for these guys because it's just through the last chicane, straight on the power, and away they go. So there's no messing around with any sort of start zone procedure on this one. It is get to the last chicane, get your toe down and get out that corner as quick as you can, and hopefully build yourself up a respectable bit of room going into turn one. Where do you think we'll see a problem down there, Casey? Do you think that's going to be an issue?
Oh, even the pros do it, so I would imagine we're going to see something at least at some point during either of these two races here tonight. Yeah, I mean, turn one's tricky, especially when you got cars side by side going down into there for the first time with cold tires.
Mm-hmm.
But, we expected to see the same thing at Daytona, and so far, like you said earlier, knock on wood, we haven't seen any major incidents, really. So, hopefully that continues tonight, but there is the potential for that, so...
which would be unfortunate if there ever is, because we don't like to see any accidents, especially at the start of a 45-minute race, which we do have this evening. It's a 45 and then a 25-minute race after. So these guys are going to have a mandatory pit stop in race one tonight, so they are going to have to They are going to have to pit for fuel. That adds a whole other element to the racing because they're obviously going to have to get themselves on and off a pit road without losing any time to any competitors they have, and try not to obviously get any dreaded penalties, which is going to have a massive effect to their race because it will automatically put you within, on a short track like this with a minute and 13 second or minute and 14, 15 second average lap time of these guys, it's going to put them in a position where they could end up even a lap down if they do get a penalty. As you can see them being led away by Jeff Applegreen in that BMW M8, and then they're going to be too wide all the way back down, and Carl Fredrickson was the last driver to put a time in. There is Mark Scott and John Casey who didn't put any times in. And I'm going to pass it over to you, Casey, to talk us through this warm-up while I put a note out to these drivers.
All right. So, yeah, these guys on their out lap here, just rolling behind the pace car, getting ready to take the green. You know, as usual, you know, you got your typical pre-race jitters these guys are working through. You know, if you're starting back here where James Howard or Taylor Lane is, you know, you're just hoping you don't get clobbered going into the first corner. Apologies there, I was just listening to Harry over the race control.
Yeah, so I talked to the drivers through race control, and of course this is some messages that we just inform them of how they start, the start procedure and things like that. And I was just reiterating to the guys there that they do not, unfortunately, there's no unfortunate about it, they do not go and they do not overtake anyone until they have actually until they have crossed the start-finish line. So there's no overtaking until they come out of that, and they will be remaining at pacing speed until they have come out of the final chicane. So that would hopefully get rid of any potential issues in regards to any accidents before they've even taken the green flag, which would be a real shame for any of these guys if that was to happen. It's a pretty intricate start. They're going to be coming out of that last chicane and going metal down and trying to maximise what they've got and making sure the gap ahead is kept down to a minimum.
Yeah, and rolling through that first chicane to take the start, that adds a whole nother level of difficulty here. Because some of these guys in the back of the pack, the field's already going to be under green. So, potential for a stack up right there even before they even get to the start finish.
Yes, as Jeff brings them through what is NASCAR Turn 4 down off of the banking to go into the final chicane, and out of that it will be a green flag, and that's where we're going to see these guys go to battle for the next 45 minutes and try, like I said at the start, to get as much as they possibly can out of this race and get as much as they possibly can in regards to points and opportunities, as Jeff backs up that field a little bit, and he's going to be bringing them through, leaving them nice and smoothly through there. And he goes now as he crosses the line. Jeff Applegreen leads them through. He's gone single file at the front very quickly. We are too wide between Taylor Lane and James Howard, and they get themselves nice through there. There's no incidents that I can see as of yet. Going through the field, all's good as Jeff brings them down into this double right-hander, but we do have a problem. I think there was a little bit of contact between two cars there at the front of the grid.
Yeah, I think that was William Paisley getting into the side of James Howard there in turn 3.
It was indeed. Now, James Howard's one of the guys who's a very top-running amateur, but he obviously qualifies really well and puts himself right in the thick of the pro field. And then these guys have got to try and, get around him because it's not a fight for position; it's just a fight for position on track. But obviously, Tom Moustakis there and James Howard are both teammates, so they're not going to be trying anything. As Andrew Hewson makes a pass on Tom Moustakis there, so now he's up on the back of the lead am, and we've got a car running very wide through that bus stop chicane at the back there. He gets himself sorted in a way. I think that was that Joe Jr. in the Corvette that ran wide out there. So Joe Jr. is one of the guys that we've had who's had a car change. As we can see, Jacob Schneider in the back there doing his pit stop early, getting it out of the way with. Bit of smoke kicked up from the lockup there. So Jacob Schneider's in the pits. He's getting that pit stop out of the way early as possible, get himself some clean air out of the traffic. Very smart move, to be fair, to get away from any potential problems he's going to have. And Taylor Lane was, in the conversations I was having with Taylor before, was not looking forward to this race because he thought he was quite off pace, but he's out there running in third. And of course, with the reverse grid, it will, if he's behind these guys, inevitably he will actually be starting ahead of these guys come race 2 if he keeps himself clean and in a position where the reverse grid will have an effect on him. So you can see Christian there. He's closed up on the back. Taylor goes defensive on the inside, just covering off that line.
Over them bumps.
He did.
Christian tagged the wall at the exit of the chicane there.
Oh, Christian. Now, I wonder if that has any damage on Christian's car. We can see the front left is crinkled up. And this is quite an aero-heavy track because obviously you've got the banking. William Paisley going to the inside.
Yeah, you do
Christian
carry
over
some
the curbs
really,
again.
Yeah, you carry some really heavy speeds down the straight, so that could really affect him.
That could affect him. Oh, we've got Andrew Houston into the wall. That was a tag from James Howard on the back. And and he's round again. Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew lost it at the exit of 1 there. He couldn't hang on to it from that contact, I think.
As we get a replay here of what happened. So you've got the slower car of Christian Furs, compromised line, and James Howard went to tag him behind, and he's just clipped the back, and it's really unfortunate. That car has got some heavy damage on the right-hand side. I think I think that spin after was a resultant of damaged suspension. Yeah, he's all over the place as he comes through.
I think Andrew got on the brakes a little quicker than what James was expecting, and pretty sure that's probably what caused that contact there.
It's a big shame, really. Andrew last week, or shall I say a couple of weeks ago, was suffering with some medical issues and out there racing, I believe, with a blood clot, and he was having some really, really difficult times, but still managed to get through as he's unfortunately found himself in a whole other world of bother in this one very early on in the race. So it's going to be interesting to see. And he's in the path of actually Jacob Schneider, so he's going to have to let Jacob go, as he does. But we're back up here with an AM battle between what I think is Greg Edney, and we've got some damage on the front right there that's Michael Kaluga's Corvette, I believe. So he's got a bit of damage there. Sorry, Stephen Martinez. My apologies. There's 2 cars, both identical. Stephen Martinez has got some damage to the right front of that car. Not too sure where that happened, but hopefully that doesn't have too much of an effect to him. Yep. Andrew Houston is in the pits. Probably going to have a healthy delay, unfortunately, to getting that car repaired. But we'll stay with this. We'll stay with the battle. We move forward up into Lydon Lee, who is in 3rd place in the amateur field, and he's on the back of Daniel Tenorio, who is 2nd place in the amateur division. As Daniel has a bit of a wild ride through the bus stop chicane, and that has left Lydon Lee all over the back of him. And what can Lydon Lee do to maximise the opportunity coming into the final chicane before they go across the start-finish line? I don't think he's going to do anything here. But obviously that put Lydon right up on the back of him. So any gap that Daniel had built up from the green flag is now gone. And Lydon is right up his exhaust pipes. And you can see if we get this onboard shot here as they go through this. The banking really holds you in around here. But then you get out to this very open, very flat section where you're always, like I said, waiting for the front end to bite, to get on the power, to get it out of here. And then this next section where they go up and over a crest is where the front end of the car gets very light and washes away. And you've got to wait until you get into the dip before it all grips back up again and you get a real good feel of the car. But Daniel's been able to pull that gap out a little bit on Lydon. I think he's got a little bit more pace. But it's a long race. It's a 45-minute race, as we said, and we're 5 minutes into it now. So it'll be interesting to see again. One thing as well is how tyre wear management is. These guys could be running slightly, shall we say, subdued setups, slightly toned down setups to try and get the tyre wear on an even balance.
Yeah, and that is going to be a factor. You mentioned, how the car likes to push. Well, it'll do that early in the run, but the further these guys go into the race, it does get very slippery, especially over by turn 3 and 4. and then you mentioned, down where I think it's 5 and 6.
Oh, we've got a car on its side. Taylor Lane is in the barriers on his side into turn 1.
Wow.
Taylor has had a monumental accident. He's put that car on its door. So what's happened here?
Oh man.
He's overshot turn 1. He's got in the barriers, and as I said, he's having some issues.
Well, I said it earlier. You got to respect the curbs, and he absolutely clobbered the curbs going into turn 1.
Oh no!
And that's what shot him straight into the wall and over on his side.
Yeah, the wall grabs him, bites. Bit of iRacing physics there, playing havoc, but it puts him on his side, and that will probably be Taylor's race over.
Yeah, that's got to be race done. That front suspension on that car's got to be broken.
Yeah, he's going to be he'll be kicking himself because it's his own mistake. It's the curbs that will really bite you. It's one of the tracks where a lot of sausage curbs, and it kind of lays out the section where they come off and onto the bank and through the infield. And he's really got that all wrong, and it's cost him. Race over, I think. He's in the pits. He's towed back. Whether he goes back out and does any more, I don't know. But he's what a shame.
Yeah, it really is, and especially you mentioned it earlier in the race. He was P2 in points coming into this race, so that's really going to have a big effect on the points as well. So
yeah, he's going to put people like Christian Furs and.
Got to bring Jeff Applegren right back up to him as well.
Yeah, and Jeff Applegreen's got the pace, but he's had 2 DNFs so far out of 6 races, and that's really affected him. And obviously, because he's changed car, when you do change car, you do have that 25-point deduction, so it has had a big effect. But Jersey Glack is all over the back of Jeff Applegreen, and this is something we've seen all season. Jersey or Jeff are just staying within a few tenths of each other, watching what each other's doing, and then later on in the race, this. Well over half an hour left to go. The move will come, I'm sure.
Oh.
Jeff clobbers the curbs.
Both of them did there. Jersey's car was really upset going through that chicane.
Yeah, the last thing that these guys want to do is have a mistake or anything like that.
No. And taking a closer look at Jersey's car now, he does have some damage on that right front side of the nose.
You can see.
It doesn't look to be affecting him, but
it's definitely
there.
It's definitely creased up the front, and the front split is now raised up off the ground. So it's whether that causes any aerodynamic effect on the car, we'll see. But he's all right because he's got that big M8 in front of him that's just carving a hole through the air, and he's able to get in the back of that and stay with Jeff. But Jeff looks very comfortable in that M8. I've got to say, he doesn't look like he's. I think one of the traits of the M8 that I've always found is that it's a bit tail happy and a bit wallowy, and he gets close to that wall coming out of there. But he looks like he's in very good control of that car.
Yep. Seeing the same thing that we saw from him out of the Porsche, though, just stable, kind of just running his race. And I think he's doing just what he has to just to stay in front of him, to stay in front of Jersey here.
Absolutely. And that gap is about half a second, and that's what it's been since the green flag fell. And they've just completed what is lap 9. So they're going to be... It's a very short lap round here, as you said, just over a minute. And lap times are within... so Jersey Glatt's last lap was a 1:14.1. Jeff's was a 1:14.2. So these guys, as ever, bang on pace with each other as Jersey knocks cones flying. I'm sure he'll be told after the race to get back out there and pick him up again.
Yeah, due to COVID, we've had to cut down on the number of maintenance people we have around the track, so he might have to go back out there and pick those up for us.
We sends out, pick the cones up, you knocked everywhere. Have I just heard that?
So William Paisley just hit one of those cones thanks to Jersey Glack and got it stuck under the nose of his car.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So I think he's got it cleared. But we have seen that in races before, and there was a patch that's just come out very recently. Then I did read something about walls and tracks and cones and damage and things like that, especially on the new damage model. where these cones that get stuck in the wheel arches are under the front of the car that have an effect. I think it only has a period of time before it then sort of evaporates and goes. But Will Paisley's car's got a bit of damage on the right rear as well. Doesn't seem to be making too much of a difference to him, as he's currently in P4, obviously with Taylor Lane's departure from this race. He was P5, but moves him up into P4. And Daniel actually isn't too far away from the back of James Howard. That gap is, we usually see James, disappearing off into the sunset, but that gap there is pretty reasonable. On the last lap, Daniel was a tenth quicker than what James was. And, James, in his last couple of laps, he's been 15.2, a 14.9 and a 14.9. Daniel's last 3 laps, 14.8, 14.6, 14.7. So he's been able to crawl in on the back of James Howard.
Yeah, he is closing in quite a bit. See what he can do. I'm wondering if James... I don't think he's getting held up by Christian Furse here a little bit.
The last lap was a 14.7. Last lap from Daniel was a 14.9. So 2 tenths that James was able to pull that gap out on the last lap. But it'll be interesting to see. Christian Furse probably races in RSR World Series as well as in this one, as he does run out wide there. And I was just going to say, hopefully he doesn't hold him up. I think the move's going to be put on. And again, these guys are not in the same championship. It's pointless for Christian to hold up or do anything with James. It's literally just track position is all they'll be fighting for, rather than actually overall position on the track. As in the overall position in the standings, sorry. But that's what Daniel didn't want to see there, because now there's another car in between. But if Christian does lag back far enough, that's going to give Daniel a bit of draft down the straights to then get on the back of James Howard, which is what he's going to want to do. Christian runs the car out wide again and nearly tags the wall. Ferrari doing Ferrari things.
Yeah, you didn't really look out of control though, and you do the ideal line for the exit of the chicane. You do want to run out wide towards the wall. But you definitely don't want to tag it. But he didn't really look out of control or anything there. I think maybe that's just the line he was trying to run.
Just looked like he clipped that curb and then it pushed the car out on the left, obviously with only 2 wheels on the ground rather than all 4.
Yeah, I might have missed that.
But it wasn't. You're right. It didn't look close enough to cause any issues. Back with Jersey Glack and Jeff Applegreen. Jersey's having a look, doesn't do it, has a little wobble under the brakes. Jeff gets a later line out of there. Jersey's car looked a bit more stable, but it did look like Jeff had a better exit. But again, this is what we're talking about, the draft. That gap now, 4.16, you can see it's coming down. Now at 4 dead. Will it come down any more into the braking zone? 3.83, so you can see there.
Oh, Jersey. I don't know if he tagged the wall, but that's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, and that's the sausage curbs. He's hitting that, and all it's doing is just bouncing the car out wide. We've got a nice cockpit view here. You can see his inputs. Oh, a lot of push there on the first. You can see as he's turned that car in. How strange. So I think what's happened is he's hit the sausage curb, which has then sort of bounced the car up, but as it's come back down and the suspension's compressed, it's then just pushed that car straight out to the fence. A little bit of a brown trouser moment there for Jersey.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that's about as close as you can get to tagging that wall without actually doing it.
Mm. So we now have Jacob Schneider and Tom Mustakis are the 2 closest cars in track at the minute. Now, these guys, I believe, are teammates as well, even though they run very different skins. But I'll be doubtful if they do any sort of silly moves. Might be is that Taylor Lane back out?
That is Taylor. Yeah, he's right there behind Jacob Schneider.
Taylor Lane is back out. Car looks fully repaired. Now it's going to be, what can he do with what he's got? That's Taylor Lane back out in a very well-looking, prepared car. As I have the overwhelming feeling that that looks like a fast repair job. And if he has had a fast repair, then that is a complete mistake on my end of putting fast repairs in the service. So these lads have got a very nice token gift this evening of having a fast repair, I think, because there's no way on earth that he could have done the damage on that car and then got back out. But anyway, sorry, it's Christmas. So we're back with Jacob Schneider.
Yeah, that had to have been because Taylor's only a lap off the pace.
Yeah, it'll be a fast repair. So these guys have got a token fast repair in this round when they technically shouldn't have. Anyway, I don't think any of them will be moaning at me. Hopefully, we see the 00 Corvette of Jacob Schneider just dropping back off the pace. Now Taylor's got a big job to do here. He's a lap down. These guys, will they want to let him through? Probably not. He's done his pit stop technically, so now he's green to the end. So maybe that mistake might not have cost him as dearly as we originally thought.
That's a good point. Yeah, because that would have counted as his pit stop, and if he can gain some time on the guys in front of him, it would take about a lap to do a full pit stop if you're going to do tires. So yeah, he wouldn't have lost a whole lot. So could work out, not necessarily in his favor, but a lot better than I think would have.
Indeed. So, car 12, which is Greg Edney, and he is currently sort of right on the back of a pack of AMs, and he is within 2 or 3 seconds of Michael Kaluga and Stephen Martinez. Now, both of these guys are obviously in the same team. So, are they going to be working with each other here? Is Michael going to be backing Greg up? Are they going to see a little bit of a shall we say, team orders come into effect? Where if Michael backs Greg up, because Michael's in a slightly damaged car, as we do see Greg's car actually slightly damaged, is Stephen Martinez going to be able to disappear off up the road? You can see the bonnet there on the inboard, all crinkled up on the right front. And again, all that will be is 2 foot wide out of a corner, 1 foot wide out of a corner, and it's clipped a barrier, and it's put some damage on the car, which we don't want to see any of these cars damaged, but it's very easy to do that. Or it could be a curve. If it hits a sausage curve too hard, it could move everything up, it could cause damage on the car. But he's got Tom Moustakis behind him now, so we're going to have a situation where pros who wanted to try and get through a battle of 2 amateurs. Taylor Lane is just behind, probably trying to make the most out of what he thought was a dead and buried race.
Yeah, and here comes Tom.
Yeah, Tom's looking. Tom gets the move done. He's up the inside. He hasn't got it done actually yet. He's up the inside. Greg cuts him off a little bit there. So we've got defending off of Pro. Probably doesn't want to give up that position on track, because obviously then it puts a car in between him and his rival. But rules are rules. Tom Moustakis doing the right thing there, because Taylor Lane I think is the quicker car, and he does let Taylor go through.
Probably another thing there. He's probably thinking if Taylor can get up underneath one of these guys, and Tom can probably follow him through.
Take a hold, yeah. So, as we see Greg going out wide, letting Taylor Lane and Tom through. Taylor goes through 1, Taylor goes through 2. Tom can't capitalise on it though, so he's now going to have a position. As these guys go too wide, and Greg gets that move done. Is he going to get the car loaded up enough though?
Yep. Good move by Tom. He got a good run out of that chicane there, and was actually able to make the move on Michael Kaluga.
Yeah, but what you saw here with Greg was he kind of overcooked it going into the first part of the chicane, got on the curbs, and then really had a very compromised exit to stop the car running out and clonking the barrier, which should have had a pretty big effect on his race. We haven't seen many of these guys pit yet. Oh, he clips the barrier though there.
Yeah, Tom he just clipped the barrier on the exit there. A little bit of damage on that right side now, but doesn't look too serious.
It does not, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Roval. It's really hard to make it, 45 minutes or an hour around here without getting some kind of damage.
Correct.
So,
okay.
If you do an IMSA or an ILMS race around here, a
Oh.
lot of the cars that finish look like they just pulled them out of a junkyard.
Mark Scott is all bent up. And I'm just going to put a quick note out to these drivers very quickly. Casey, with you.
And watching Jeff and Jersey here, still about a half a second between them. Kind of the same thing we've seen all season out of these guys. Just kind of running their race. And I got to say, I think Jersey's just waiting till we get a little deeper into the race here before he tries to make a move. Kind of just holding station about 3 car lengths off the back of Jeff's car here.
Yeah, well, the gap's always been within half a second. Jeff's not been able to pull any space. Jersey does look better.
Jersey looking to make a move here. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong. He gets it done.
Jeff's got damage on that car. Jeff's had contact with something. I've just heard Jeff over the radio telling Jersey to go. I wonder if Jeff has had a trip to the barriers.
He does have fairly significant damage on the left front now that I'm looking at it.
So, this could. Do I say it? Yeah, I'll say it, even though it might curse him. But this could be an easy win for Jersey if he keeps it clean and keeps it away from the barriers. If Jeff, who is probably his closest rival on track, has got damage, and you can see that gap now up around a second. So Jeff is really falling off the pace. But that's a smart move there, really, because Jeff's probably thinking, well, there's no one else really within touching distance of me. Christian Furs is the next car back. He's 14 seconds behind. Let him go. It's pointless holding him up, putting Jersey in a position where he'd be making a move, let's say, where that could then cause an issue between the drivers.
Now, I wonder if Jeff does not know that there's a fast repair for the session.
He does, because I've just put it out on the radio to them, so they know that there is a fast repair.
Well, then if I was him, I'd be ducking on pit road right now.
Yeah, he should be doing that because he's losing time hand over fist, and I am going to reiterate that message to these guys that they are allowed to use it. He gets close to that wall again. Wonder if that's where he made the contact.
I got to think that's probably what it is, and it's probably affecting the car making turns to the right, because that car did not look like it wanted to turn at all when he came out of that chicane.
I do not know. So we're with Stephen Martinez now. As we can see, that's William Paisley all over the back of him there. So Will is currently now 11th overall, but would be, I believe, 6th or 7th in class. And he's only a second up the road is his next rival, which is Tom Mustakis. So Will gets an easy pass there. And I wonder just how it plays out this race. Obviously, we're in the 20 minutes to go now. Is there a reason why Jeff hasn't brought that car in knowing he has a fast repair to use? Is he just waiting to see if Jersey makes a mistake? Are they going to pit together so he knows he's not going to lose any time on track or get caught behind anyone? That's probably one thing he is thinking. He probably doesn't want to get caught behind anyone or in a battle where he doesn't need it. Will Paisley has binned it. So Will Paisley, all fine through here, gets it down into turn 1 and drops it. Did he do a similar thing to what Taylor did? He did. Yep. He hit that curb, pushes him out wide. Consequences, he got away much easier than what Taylor did. I think Taylor did have a bit more heavier contact with the barrier.
That car is still going to be fairly broken, though, I think.
Yeah, it very much is.
Set it up, set it. Respect the curbs.
Yeah. He's respecting them now. Might be a bit too late in the race for that, though, as he's probably bringing it into pit lane this time. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. And he doesn't. Stays out. Obviously doesn't feel it's that too much damage. There's quite a big gap built up in the first and second place in the amateur. So we've got 8 seconds between James Howard and Daniel. As Jordan says in the chat, come on, Dan. Must have a fan out there. As James Howard is 8 seconds up the road. But as we've seen, one mistake, one error, one sausage curb, it's all out the window, and you'll find yourself back up. And you see James taking liberties with the curbs there. You need to do it, though, but unfortunately it's one... You know, you do it in the wrong way and it bounces you off into a wall, and it is your race, you know, hampered, should we say.
Yeah, it is the fast way to get around here, but, you know, like we've seen guys getting down into the first corner, you take a little too much, and that's all it takes. And, you know, without the fast repairs, that's race done. So.
Excuse me. I'm drinking very fizzy drinks here to keep myself going at 5 to 2 in the morning. I've been up in the morning earlier on today, trying to set up things for this evening, knowing that we're going to have, shall we say,
new build.
Rocky roads with the new builds, and trying to really fathom out, because obviously things have changed on behind the scenes as well as what's happened with the cars and the way we set the servers up. The whole way of setting a server up now has changed a little bit, hence why a mistake has been made with giving these guys a fast repair. But yeah, the race is good though. I think they got strung out now, so there's obviously with a lower number of cars, they've got some room against each other. But obviously with pit stops, it could have an effect and bring these guys to a position where they're all back bunched up together.
Yeah, I'm a little interested to see where Tom Moustakis is going to shake out here once everything's said and done. I was down there talking to the guys earlier, and he said that, you know, he was really considering coming in really early, kind of like where we saw with Jacob Schneider, just coming in, you know, taking his stop and just getting it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and which I thought maybe that was a good idea, because he could get away from a lot of the traffic, get away from, you know, potential accidents caused by other drivers. So probably not a bad idea just to get that out of the way and get away from some of the other guys.
So Lyden Lee is now bringing it up on the back of Stephen Martinez. Now again, we're coming into pit stop territory now. Is the move going to be made before it? The other thing as well is, one thing that's probably in a lot of guys' heads, it's always been in my head with endurance racing or a pit stop race. As that guy practiced getting his car into pit lane, and if he's going to be a tortoise getting the car in there, that's going to affect me, and then obviously the guy behind us will be able to catch up even more. So chances are, as I think Stephen Martinez doesn't make his life hard at all, moves out of the way, because I think Lyden's caught up quite well on the back of him. But that is one thing, you don't want to get stuck behind someone going into pit lane, as it really has a downwards effect on your race.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't mentioned is the exit of pit road is actually really tricky here, because you can't follow the normal exit like NASCAR would take. At the end of pit road, it's actually a 90-degree left, and when you get on the gas, coming out of that 90-degree left, if you hit it too quick, it will spin you right out, and you will lose all of your time.
Yeah, it has a big effect. As you can see, a couple of guys at the back here. You've got John Casey. John Casey's actually done really, really well. He started the season, and we were talking to John, really trying to help him out with a few bits. And I know he's having some coaching in regards as becoming a better road driver, but he has really moved on quite well. His last lap times, you know, he's looking at his lap times that he's done. You know, he's done some 2:17s, some 2:16s, and things like that. So pace-wise, he's not that far away. Andrew Hughes gets it all wrong and does a nearly half spin on the sausage curb.
Yeah, I think he was just doing all he could just to keep it out of the back of John here.
Yeah, John's probably braked a little bit early, and Andrew's probably, we'll see here. I think the braking mark is around the 3 hours. He's braked really early, and Andrew's just gone, oh dear. He's managed to keep it. Andrew's having a miserable afternoon out there in race 1. We wish him the best of luck for race 2, but it's going to be tricky for him. But he is in a position here going into race 2 where he could get himself a really nice jump on the field, and get himself right up in the top 2 or 3 from where he is starting. We don't know what that number is yet, but it's going to be he might be in a really good position here to get himself in a good position or a better position starting race 2.
Yep. Yeah, depending on what that number is going to be for the reverse grid. And that's really going to shake things up for race 2 as it does every week. So
very much so. Christian Furs still running in. He's actually lost a position to Joe Jr., but I think that's through pit stops, maybe. It's Joe Jr. just looking through all his lap times. So Joe Jr. has not pitted. And let's just see, Christian Furs, I believe, pitted around lap 18, lap 19. So, yeah, so Christian Furs already boxed, and I think Joe Jr. has yet to pit. So that will wash itself out and put Christian Furs back into 3rd position. And then Joe Jr. does have some damage on that car as well, actually, so he's all crinkled up at the right front.
Yeah, I saw him get into the barrier at some point earlier on in the race. I didn't do major damage to the car, though.
So we've got 10 minutes left to go. Still a few of these lads left to pit. Gap at the front. Jersey Glack is one of them, I believe, left to pit. And has Jeff Applegreen been able to pull any times back in? Last lap from Jersey Glack was a 14.2. Jeff is out there, hammer down, 13.6. So he's only sort of 3 or 4 tenths away from where he put in his times in qualifying. In fact, his last lap was his quickest lap as a 13.650. And then compared to Jersey's last lap time of a 14.2, it's going to be very interesting to see where these boys come out after the pit stop.
Yeah, but Jeff's got a lot of time to make up from before his pit stop there, where he was just hemorrhaging time after getting that damage. So,
well, the gap's down at 24.4 as we see Jersey now darting into pit lane. Get that car stopped, mate. You do not want to be having what will be, I believe, a stop and hold if they speed in the pit lane. So for stop and hold, it will be you have to go back out, I believe, and then come back in to serve the penalty, which is be a real shame if anyone has that problem. As he pulls it up.
I think there's still going to be a bit of a gap as Jeff Applegren's just now crossing the start-finish line.
He is. As he breaks the move on an AM driver there, and Jersey Glack is just coming out of the pits now. So that gap is about 14 seconds.
Nope. He's going to be right on the back of him.
He's right on him.
0.6 of a second between them, I think.
Wow. So that pitting early for Jeff probably means he's got some clearer air. Either way, Jersey gets 2 wheels on the grass going up into the double right-hander here. Nearly gets the car he gets the car very unbalanced and nearly hands the lead to Jeff if there was ever if you lose it there, if you lose it at any point around here, it's without that fast repair, it is race over, because there's no way you can come back from hitting one of these barriers at the speed they're doing and really be competitive against someone like Jeff Applegreen, who's there doing times within, the quickest times that we've seen out of any of these guys at the minute. So, but the gap is actually stretching out just over a second at the minute. You can see there on the delta times. And all he's got to do is keep it clean.
Yeah, I think Jersey's turning the wick up a little bit here. He knows that Jeff's there. He does not want to give up any time to him and let him get close enough to make a move.
No, he does not. Steven Martinez, I think that is making life very easy for both of these guys. Gets well out of the way, lets them get on with their race. He doesn't want to be getting involved in that battle.
Yep, classy move by him.
So Joe Jr. is now boxed. So I think he's one of the last cars to box, and let's see where he comes out. So Will Paisley, Tom Mustakas have both got round him. Jacob Schneider, and I've just seen Jacob Schneider have a little contact with the wall. I think he might have some suspension damage, maybe. No, I think he's okay. But Joe Jr., there's not much of a gap between the two. Is that car crabbing, or is that just me? I think that car's crabbing, you know. I think the back of that car looks like a slightly different angle to the front end of that car. Yeah, but he's still keeping it out there and still going. I mean, he's fifth in class, sixth in class. So, sorry, seventh in class. So it's his best interest to keep that car going and pick up the points for seventh.
Yep. Yeah, that car does not look settled going down the straights there.
No, it's all over the shop.
Oh, he clobbers the barrier at the exit of the chicane here.
Oh dear. Now that has had effects on his race. Yeah, Mark. Jacob Schneider has just evened the damage out on the front of that car. He's just got to keep it going as we get a replay here of him coming out of the bus stop chicane. And it's the curb, as we've said before. As you can see here, goes through first section, second section. It's the curb. And
car's just bouncing and would not turn.
No, bang. Now, it really depends on how much his steering is damaged. Let's have a little look. Oh, his steering is really off to the left-hand side. So he's only got what, 5-ish laps of this race left. If you can look at that car going.
He's doing everything he can just to keep it on the track right now, I think.
That thing looks mangled. Bless. So we have another battle here between two AMs. We've got Eric Kaluga and Carl Fredrickson. So Kyle, so I'm just getting it up on mine right now. Is Carl Fredrickson, Michael Kaluga. So this is down in the points. But again, as we've said, they will be battling to try and get every point that they can. And Carl Fredrickson and Michael Kaluga have only got a small gap between them. I believe it's only around 2 seconds, or just under a second and a half, actually.
Yeah, Kyle was just slightly quicker last time by. Had him by about a tenth. So, but all it's going to take is a slip, and he'll be right there.
Yeah, it's. I think the pit stop just add another thing to it here, because as we've seen, Jeff Applegreen, who's within a second, he's been able to get that car sorted and really get back on it. I think Tom Mustakas has really played it right with the pit stop here. He's come out in fourth, and he's got a fairly chunky gap on sort of. Well, he actually hasn't. Sorry, I said a lie. There's only 2.5, 3 seconds between him, William Paisley, and then another sort of 3.5 seconds back to Joe Jr. So all three of those guys might be getting spicy as we get into the last few laps of this race. But Jeff out breaks himself into the chicane, has to take evasive manoeuvres as we go with another shot of this here. What does he do? Does he lock a brake? No. He did lock a brake right at the very end there. I think the brake just smashed on him, and then he's aborted the corner, which is the right thing to do, because otherwise he's just going to go sort of full centre over that sausage curb and then probably end his race.
Yeah, he really drove it down too deep in there. I think he was just trying to make up some distance on on Jersey under the brakes there. It just didn't work out.
No, it did not.
And he had to bail out because otherwise he was going straight on into the barrier.
Which would have been race end for him probably because he's not got any more fast repairs. He shouldn't have had him in the first place anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, like you were mentioning before, I do think that doing that pit stop the way Tom did it, that really did work out well for him.
Yeah, it just allowed him to have a bit more space around him, and it's really worked. He's come out well ahead of well, not well ahead, but he's come out ahead of his rivals. As we can see the gap between Jersey and Jeff Applegreen is actually getting bigger. So I think Jersey's probably thinking this one is in the bag.
Yeah, he just got to keep hitting his marks, not let it get to his head yet. He should have a pretty relatively easy win. At least by the standards that these two have set all season, where they're racing each other right to the line.
Oh, Jake. Well, our token crab of the day has just had a bit of a scary moment because he's come through there. Has he got a wheel on the grass? Is it grass out there, or has he just got a wheel? Oh my God, he's carried so much speed through there. Oh, brown trouser moment, kept it all in a straight line, but he's done. Oh. He's done really well to. He hasn't finished yet, has he? But if he does get that car across the line, I think he's done really well to keep it going. Yeah, he just caught the grass there.
Oh man,
scary.
Yeah, he has done well. I just heard a car smash a barrier.
I did as well. Kyle Fredrickson's around. Kyle has just nosed it into the barrier, and I've just seen him getting it all out of shape. As he takes that right hander, which is arguably the trickiest bit, and then gets it into the dip. And what happens here is he clipped the barrier. Yeah, he's clipped the barrier on the right. Bang. No, what he's got to do is really bring it home, I think. But he's crabbing now as well. Looking at his car, and it looks different.
Oh yeah, the back end's definitely skewed to the right a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely got a different angle to the front end. You can see the right rear is out of alignment compared to the rest of the car. He brings it into the pits. I think they're on the white flag lap at the minute, I believe. I think they are on the white flag lap. So this is the final lap of the race. I think as long as Jersey gets the car home, he's got it in the bag. And you can see that gap there of 3 seconds. Don't do anything silly here, Jersey. Just bring it home, and you've got a win. On I think we said this. I think we said Montreal was a tricky track, but the more I look at this, I think this is probably, equally as hard. The runoffs aren't there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different kind of tricky, but definitely very tricky. And Jersey Black brings it across the line. He will take race 1, round 4.
He does. Jeff Applegreen follows him in second. Gap there. The line was just under 2.5 as he locks the brake into turn 1, probably out of frustration. Because it was kind of his to lose that. I think he qualified. Yeah. He qualified a 10th quicker. He probably had a bit more pace, but just simple little mistakes that Jersey didn't have. He had that one little moment coming through onto the start-finish line, and that was the only issue he had in the whole race. William Pace's car looks very second-hand, battered on both sides. Looks like he's got some spaces on the wheels that's moved it out past the arches, but it's not. Actually, the arches have moved in because he's clobbered things.
These guys just running it straight into the barrier at the end of the race.
That's them showing their appreciation. Really? Oh dear. Oh dear.
So we were talking how we haven't had any major incidents.
That's a pretty substantial accident.
Does it count if it's after the checkered?
Yeah, that's a pretty substantial accident there. I race in wall physics. Yeah. We'll leave that one there. And I wonder what we're going to get as a reverse grid number.
Jeff Applegren just put in the driver's chat. He doesn't know if he can do another race.
Oh dear. Are we going to see Jeff Applegreen out for race 2? It would be in his best interest to do that. So we are just sorting out the reverse grid number now. And I'm going to get my randomizer up. Casey, give me a number. What do you think it's going to be?
Ooh, we got what? We got 18 cars. I'm going to say maybe 12? Prediction?
I've hit the number. 15. Andrew Hewson, who was unfortunately killed, has been put onto the top spot. So Andrew Hewson will be your pole sitter, and Casey's going to talk you through the final lineup just while I get this server set up for these guys.
All right. So our finishing order from race 1, Jersey Glack takes the win. Jeff Applegren finished 2.5 seconds behind. Second, James Howard takes home the win in the AM division and 3rd overall. Christian Furs in 4th place. 5th place, Daniel Tenorio, your 2nd place AM driver. Thomas Stockus, we mentioned, had that pit strategy. He comes home in 6th. William Paisley in 7th. Joe Jr., 8th. 9th place, Lyden Lee. 10th is Eric Kalaga. 11th place, Jacob Schneider. We saw that car crabbing and pretty much absolutely destroyed at the end there. Steve Martinez in 12th. 13th was Greg Edney. Michael Kalaga, 14th. 15th place, Andrew Hewson. Mentioned he will be the pole sitter for race 2. Taylor Lane in 16th. Kyle Fredrickson, 17th. John Casey in 18th. And Mark Scott rounding out the field in 19th.
Then the 20th is the commentator.
Yeah, the commentator.
Listen, I'm having a bad day, all right? Things haven't gone well. I've joined the session wrong. I've given them fast. I mean, my dog is sat next to me. I'm going to get him on here, and he can just crack on for the rest of the night because he's probably going to do a better job than I am, and probably make less mistakes. So, dog, no, he doesn't care anyway.
No, he just wants his treats.
Yeah,
naps.
That ain't happening. That's not happening. It's it's been an interesting one today. It's been a roller coaster of things with updates, and obviously we had the race earlier on at Long Beach with the GT3s, and obviously with the new Lamborghini coming out in there was, we saw a lot of Lamborghinis going around, and it did seem to be the much preferred car. But I did some testing using the GT3 cars on much more of a power track, it was Spa, and I was quite surprised to find out that it wasn't the Lamborghini that was actually the quickest. It was probably the joint quickest with the Ferrari in my testing and from my driving, but it was actually a McLaren. Seems to be one of the more quicker cars. I'm sure that after the likes of these setup builders out there that get hold of them, I'm fairly sure we're going to see the Lamborghini being the top step in the GT3 field. But but in my testing, it was actually the McLaren that was the quickest car.
But that McLaren, that car just scares me.
Oh yeah, it is. It's potential death at every other corner.
Every time that I've drove it, it has killed me.
It's not it's not a friendly bit of kit.
Takes a special set of hands and feet to be able to drive that car and to do it well. Which I like to think I'm pretty decent, but not good enough to make that car work.
So we are just sorting out the server for race 2. And
no
then,
fast repairs?
No fast repairs. I've turned them off this time. Thank you for the advice. Well, Taylor Lane will be kicking himself. He's one spot away from getting into that, but unfortunately the number is called and it was 15. So Taylor will be starting where he finished that one in 16th. He's got Carl Fredrickson having that having that last lap or last couple of laps moment where he clobbered the barrier with the front of the car, actually with the side of the car, which then turned him around to give him a nose on, just to make sure he was doing the job properly. And then of course we're going to see these boys do some damage in a reverse grid. So just talk you through how it will look for your top 10. You've got Andrew Hewson, Michael Kaluga, Greg Edney, Stephen Martinez, Jacob Schneider, Eric Kaluga, Lyden Lee, Joe Jr., Will Paisley, and Tom Mustakis will round out your top 10. And we do have another driver who's going to be taking part here. It's Derek Dennis. He's going to be joining us for race 2, who was not in race 1. And he's going to be starting right at the very back behind John Casey and Mark Scott, who I think John Casey managed to get across the line. Mark Scott obviously had damage, which didn't do him any favours. So that's that sorted. Money on who's going to win race 2, Casey? What do you think?
Ooh. Let's see. Every time I've gone against Jersey, he ends up somehow working his way through traffic and really quickly. So I think I'm going to have to go with Jersey. I think he's going to be able to do it here. You've got the room to make some moves, at the Roval. So he obviously has the pace. Him and Jeff were miles away from the rest of the field, really. So it'll be interesting to see if Jeff turns out for race 2, potentially a hand or wrist problem. He was saying that was basically driving one-handed there from lap 15 on, so really about the second half of the race. So hopefully he can turn out and still make a battle out of it. But I really think Jersey's going to be the car to beat, even having to come through the field. Potentially, obviously barring that he doesn't get caught up in wrecks or anything like that.
Yeah, that is it. As the session has just gone live, so we are going to be jumping in there and seeing what happens in race 2. The conditions are going to be slightly different. It's going to be a little bit cooler. It's going to be a little bit later on in the day, so the sun's going to be sort of dipping down. And let's get ourselves in there. And while we are waiting for that server to go up, Rob, do you want to say hello? You're man behind the scenes with the camera, so let's get you in here and say hello.
How you guys doing?
Woo!
Yeah, how you doing, guys? Robert O'Brien here from Raidillon TV, the cameraman behind the scenes as always for the RSR American Series. Hopefully you guys
doing a
enjoyed
great job as always.
First race. Yeah, appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoying the first race. I am more than anything else. It's entertaining to see the guys going around in the GTs and in cars that I wouldn't necessarily put at number 1, if I'm gonna be honest. Like I would be more used to very open, very wide, very open sort of tracks, rather than the tracks that you guys like to race at, which is
we can't have it. They can't be having it easy. Do you know what I mean? It's not. They're not out there to be, mollycoddled. And in actual fact, this is IMSA was there part of this year.
They did race there.
Yeah, GT,
and that was actually one of the best races I think of the season for IMSA. No, they didn't have any prototypes. It was just GCE and GTD or GTLM, as they like to call their GTE series. And absolute pouring rain, and it was a fantastic race. So hopefully something that IMSA does in the future. But yeah, so they did race here and put on a good race. So figure why not? Let's throw it in here and give these guys a challenge. And this track is challenging. So as we saw from race 1.
Well, I'm more used to big wide open tracks like Le Mans, Spa, even Road America, Road Atlanta, Sebring. Yeah. When I go to a Roval, I cry a lot. Because a Roval is an in-road, a bus stop, or two, and it makes me very sad. I'm a sad panda when that happens. Like Daytona especially is quite it's literally left turn, right turn, or no, it's first turn in horseshoe, 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 the NASCAR 1-2, bus stop, 3 and 4, you're done. It's just like where's the fun in that? It's not real fun.
Yeah, the real challenge with Daytona isn't necessarily the track itself. It's typically always the traffic. You know, especially if you're in the prototypes. I think that's where a lot of the fun is. For me anyways, racing around Daytona is trying to work through traffic, trying to not lose any time, but also not put yourself in a compromising position. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Daytona is useful for multi-class racing, especially when it comes to the Daytona 24. But I still want a more entertaining track. I don't hide my I don't hide my shame, or don't hide my I don't hide my belief that the track does need a little bit of a push when it comes to getting entertainment value out of it. But of course, I'm not a track designer,
yeah. The and I don't know if you do much. Do you do much IndyCar racing?
No.
No. So they were actually at Daytona at the NASCAR layout, where they have that chicane right there at the exit of NASCAR 4. So, and they had the Indy cars there, and it was fantastic. To me, I thought that was actually a lot of fun. Really challenging. It kind of threw a monkey wrench into what you would normally think of doing, around Daytona, because typically you come out of turn 4, NASCAR 4, and you're just flat out till you get down into turn 1. Whereas with that chicane, now you're 170, 180 miles an hour, going down to about 50.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, to me, I thought that was a lot of fun, and I think it really changes the characteristics of the track. I think it kind of adds that little extra to it.
I think I just hate sausage curbs in general.
Yeah,
and
those.
stops.
And I'm not a fan of the sausage curbs, and I do think they need to change those.
At least something that doesn't kill the floor every time that you look at it.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I'm not a fan of them either, because you're right. Especially with one of these GTEs, or really any GT car, open wheel car, you hit one of those curbs, you're done. I mean, that's it. The aero is destroyed. So.
Anyways, I will return to piece of cameras. I'll let you guys have all the fun for race 2. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Yep, looking forward to race 2. As we've seen in the weeks past, race 2 has been the more spicy of the 2 races. So potentially we could be seeing more of that here. As Jersey and Jeff, some of the other guys, try and work their way through the field. We saw a couple incidents last week at Montreal. Nothing major, but definitely the potential for more of that here this. There, Harry?
I very much am, sir. I'm just sorting out. This new beta UI has changed quite dramatically, and I think we're just having a little bit of an issue. A couple of guys unfortunately cannot join, so we're going to get that sorted right away. It's that night, isn't it? It's that night.
It's season 1 build. It's 2020 still. So, and if 2020's taught us anything, Murphy's Law definitely still applies. So
it very much does. We do have a little bit. There we go. Okay. I think what we're going to do is if we grab someone for a very quick chat, and it's someone we've not heard about yet. So I think if we grab Jersey Glack, Casey, if I leave you with having a quick chat with Jersey, I am going to rectify the minor little issue that is the new build, and I don't think it's it. I think it's genuinely me. But I'm just going to see if this gentleman would like to have a chat with us just to fill.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to see if we can get Jersey Glack in here for a conversation. I think he is with us. Jersey, can you hear us okay?
Yes, it's okay. Hello.
Oh, fantastic. So you are with us. Casey, I'm going to leave you to have a quick conversation with Jersey. Jersey, just put you in the loop. We are having some technical difficulties as ever. Now, one thing I know you've said to me, Jersey, you're am I right in saying you're Polish?
I'm speak Polish?
Are you from Poland?
Yeah.
You are? Okay, cool. So I just, obviously, you're up at a silly hour just the same as what I am, so you're doing a fantastic job. Casey, crack on, have a little chat with him. I'm going to jump across and just get a few little issues sorted. So I'll leave it with it.
Hey, Jersey. Hey, great job, race 1, man, and really great job all season. So what are your thoughts here going into race 2?
I think that's this race will be hard. I will hard working, and I think it will be good.
Yeah, and it has been good. It's been good all season. Watching you battle with Jeff Applegren, you guys have been really at each other's throats all season so far. But I've loved watching you guys in race 2, working your way through traffic and really not putting yourselves in any bad, terrible spots for the most part. I think with the exception of last week. But what's going to be your strategy here to get through traffic?
In race 2?
Yep.
Going
to be starting P15.
I know. I think sorry, I don't know.
That's okay. No, take your time. Are you going to try and rush through the field, or are you going to try and take it easy and just pick them off one at a time?
No, that's not easy. That's right. I think this race will be hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are sorry, I'm stressed.
No, hey, absolutely take your time, and nothing to be stressed about. Just looking at the session here, it looks like maybe Harry's killing session. So yeah, Jersey, like I said, man, hey, great job all season. Definitely looking forward to watching you in race 2 here and seeing what you can do.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And thank you for putting on a great show thus far. Waiting to get an update from Harry. I'm not sure where he's gone.
I am back with you,
All right.
Yeah, all good. Just relaxing and chilled, iRacing's just giving me a rough ride, but it's fine. That's nothing new, so it's all good.
All right, so are we changing sessions here? Is that
We
what
are
we're doing?
changing the sessions. We're going to have to jump in the second session of the 2. So it's just because when we set the starting grid up, unfortunately, I think some people that were there but couldn't join, and whether they're trying to join through the website or whether they're trying to join through the beta UI. But I've just had to set up a second server so it works for these guys.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think it's only fair that we we accommodate, shall we say, a few little issues.
Yeah, especially with everything being changed around so much and kind of iron out the. Yep.
We are indeed, yes. So second session is where it's going to be at. I've just told everyone. Everybody knows. Oh. Aggressively tapping away on my keyboard there. Bear with me.
Yep, it's definitely still 2020.
And I'm back with you. Guys, I think you're back. We're back with you. So apologies for the little delay. It's another night of fun and minor little issues that we've got to overcome. But we are there now. So we've got guys all just joining the session now as we speak. So we'll get this grid filled up in preparation for what will be race 2, which will be a much shorter race, be 25 minutes rather than the longer session.
Trying to get back in. Hopefully I'm going into the right one. You know, unfortunately, in the beta UI, you can't really tell. It doesn't really tell you like the name of the session. That.
I've put a big label on it saying this one. So if you look in the information, it will say this one. So we are gridding up right now to head out. So these guys are gridding up and heading out onto track now to start race 2 of the evening. And we have Andrew Hewson on the pole and Greg Edney, who are going to be the 2 pole guys. And then down from there, Stephen Martinez, Jacob Schneider, Leiden Lee, Eric Kaluga, William Paisley, and Tom Lasakis are going to be all heading out for battle. Yeah, I think unfortunately, I think we've had a disconnect. I think Andrew Hewson has just had a disconnect. Unfortunately, Andrew Hewson won't be making the start of race 2. He has, unfortunately, had a disconnect. So I'm going to put a quick message out to these drivers here. So these guys are coming out. Out of the chicane onto the banking to start the race.
All right. And I am in. Okay.
So these guys are coming through what is NASCAR Turn 4 to take the green flag. Andrew Hewson has had a disconnect. It's been a real night of things, but we're there now and we're about to start race 2 of the evening, and let's hope these boys can keep it clean as they get the green flag and they come through the final chicane and they are away. So we've got Stephen Martinez on the outside making a move on Greg Edney. And they're through turn 1 at the front, all okay. And we're moving back through the field to see if there's any issues. And we do not have any issues. They're all away. And unfortunately, there's those chaps that have missed the start are heading out now. And people are making the move, trying harder to get through the field.
Jacob Schneider really pushing. He takes over P2.
We had a 3 wide back there. Eric Kaluga in the Ford was hung out to dry on the left-hand side, has lost a few spots. They are all through. Jersey Glack and Jeff Applegreen. Jeff Applegreen gets past Jersey Glack. As Will Paisley comes to the radio and says he's had a pretty scary first sector, and he did have. That was they were very tight to each other through there.
Oh,
we've
Tom,
got contact.
gets in the back to Jeff.
Oh dear. And that's Jeff Applegreen around. So what happened there? So we could see Jeff
Just trying to go around the outside, and Tom, I think, hit the curb a little bit, and that sent him on into Jeff. Oh.
he very much is.
What a shame for Jeff.
Jeff is absolutely stone cold dead last, unfortunately. So he's got a lot of catching up to do after that one. I don't think he'll be too happy about that manoeuvre. But it is 2 into 1, doesn't go, as we've got another car in the fence here. We've got William Paisley, who has had a little trip to the barrier. And again, was that turn 1? Yeah, no, it was as he's coming into the double right-hander, he's put it on the grass. Yeah, so he's hit the curb and he's ran out, and unfortunately it's
upset the car, and
away it goes. So we can see now he's down the pecking order, but Daniel Tadeo there moving out the way, because obviously Will is the pro driver, giving up the spot on track. And we are on board now with William Paisley. Let's just look at his steering inputs. Has he got any damage to the suspension of that car? I don't think he has. I think he'd be okay. And now we are with Stephen Martinez. Greg Edney runs out wide and lets Jersey Glack through. Taylor Lane is all over the back of Jersey Glack. And let's just see what Taylor can do. Hopefully he doesn't have another incident where he puts it on its side, because that'll be a big shame. So yeah, a couple of these lads unfortunately missed the start because they're having to set up another session, and hopefully they can capitalise and do what they can do to move themselves up to the grid. And we'll see just how quick Jersey Glack can get through. We've got Jacob Schneider and Christian Furs out the front. I wonder if Jacob Schneider's got any more pace than what Christian Furs has got.
A 114.1 for Christian Furs last time by. A 114.4 for Jacob Schneider. So looks like Christian's got a few tenths in hand here.
Yeah, and Christian will probably want to get that move done. If he's the quicker car, he's not going to want to hold up at all, because the likes of Jersey Glack, unfortunately not Jeff Applegreen because of the contact that happened, but Jersey Glack is going to be wanting to get through that field as quick as possible.
Yeah, and he's already, I think, up inside, either 5th or 6th. Yeah, Jersey Glack 5th now, so he's come up through the field very quickly.
Very much has, and if Jacob Schneider can keep it in the right way, he's in a very good position to start it well. Ooh, he's on the curbs, he gets it out of shape, and that's that gap now between Jacob and Jeff has come down by quite a bit. As you can see there, Christian really closes up on the back of Jacob. But as long as Christian doesn't have anything like he had in the first race, which is a a trip to the concrete, then it's going to be should be a fairly good result for him. He's in a good position all over the back of Jacob Schneider. Less than 3, well, just less than 4 tenths, should we say, between the two cars.
Jacob ran out wide, just touched the grass at the exit of 4 there.
Yeah, and
upset the car just a little bit.
And Jersey Glack has made easy, light work of the two guys behind. Or shall we say, was it Taylor Lane that he was with? And he's got past Lydon Lee, so now he's only 2.5 seconds behind this battle up front. Christian could really do with putting a car between him and Jersey. It would help out massively, as he's got the run. Is he going to use it? He's using it. He's gone to the inside. Yeah, and Jacob does the right thing, kind of stays out wide, doesn't want to have any incident there. But that's what Christian needed, is to put a car between them. And he's hoping now that Jacob holds up Jersey. So that gap between the two has come down to just under 2 seconds. Jersey Glack's last lap time was a 13.368, very similar to the pole lap that we saw in race 1. Christian's last lap was a 14.494. So it's only going to be a matter of time as Jacob runs out wide.
Jersey, yep, makes the move.
Yeah, I think that's Jacob making it easy work there for Jersey. I think we're going to see a couple of battles as the reverse grid always adds to the flair of it, as Tom Mustakis is all over the back of the Porsche of William Paisley. William Paisley did have that trip off to the barrier. You can see the back end of that Porsche just not looking as neat and as symmetrical as it should do, as the end plate of the wing is all bent up and looking like a strip of lasagna. But Tom Mustakis is looking outside.
Oh, he locks him up.
Locks him up all over the curbs. Will gets the run back. Greg Edney and Daniel Teneo, which is 2 AM drivers behind, looking to do something, but it would be pointless for Greg to really make a move on Tom, because it's only going to have to give it the space back up again. And they go again, but I think Daniel Teneo is probably got the pace over and above what Greg Edney's got, as we saw in race 1. But your lead am at the minute is James Howard, as he's made the move on Lydon Lee. So Lydon's dropped back a spot into P2, and that was done in sector 1. And Lydon now probably hoping to stay on the back of James. James has been the quickest AM driver in the field on his day. I feel really gutted for Andrew having that drop out just before the start. He was P1, and he's had some major issues all week with his computer. So he's had some major issues with I think an update that happened, that he's only had to backtrack and do a fresh install of Windows to get it to cooperate. So he's really gutted. Tom gets it out of shape coming out of that bus stop chicane and loses quite a substantial amount of track position.
Yeah, it always makes me nervous whenever I see I got a Windows update pending.
Yeah,
I've had one that absolutely killed my computer before, and I couldn't get it back. To the point I had to take it to the shop to have them fix it for me.
Well, that's what happened with Andrew. I think it was a complete fresh install of Windows, but he got it going and then gets a disconnect on race 2 when he had a real opportunity of making something about it, because he had some good pace. And one of them. It's that night, ladies and gentlemen. It's that night.
This has been, this has really turned out to be
fun.
Yeah, entertaining nonetheless.
Fun's the word. So
interesting.
Very much so. But we're there with Tom Mustakis in his purple and black machine. Tom gets on the brakes a little bit later than Dan ahead. Now Dan, is he going to let him through? Bear in mind he's up on the back of a couple of cars ahead of him, which is Stephen Martinez.
up high, and Tom makes the move coming out of turn 4 here. NASCAR 4.
Gets the job done into the last chicane before they come across the line to complete another lap. Just under 15 minutes left to go in this race now. Tom using the curbs. I'm going to say he brushes the barrier. He was very close to the barrier if he didn't brush it. As he's coming through now all over the back.
Puts the move on Steven Martinez.
Yeah, job done. Stephen runs out wide, but he doesn't want to let Dan through. Now, Dan's seen an opportunity there. And he backs out of it. He lets Stephen take his line. Now, these guys are 2 AMs battling for what is 3rd place. So there'll be no room given. Dan gets a slight little run up onto the banking, but I think Stephen optimises his exit speed. He runs the car in the middle. Dan's looking on the low side. And that is for position. Dan is looking inside. He's braking.
Oh.
Yeah, he takes some curb. And we've got a returning Jeff Applegreen behind these 3 AMs here, just wanting to get on his way and try and make the best of a bad night.
Yeah, and he's still got a bit of time to recover here.
He has, yeah. He should be able to get himself up a fairly decent position. He'll probably get through these AMs fairly promptly. He's had a lockup though. Ooh. He's all right. BMW traits there, a little lockup. Doesn't hurt it too much. Jeff is on the back of Daniel Tenorio. And again, that livery there.
Is that a car off? Yeah, Tom Mustakis off.
Oh dear, Tom. So he's run it out wide there. And he's just lost all his position on track. I don't think he's got anyone for position as such, but he's lost his track position. But rejoins fairly safely without any major issues.
Yeah, so all these AMs that he worked so hard to get by, now he's going to have to do it all over again.
Yeah. The next car up the road to him is Jeff Applegreen, and currently over 3 seconds, but that gap will probably pull out even more, as Jeff is one of the real contenders for this. Christian Furs has had an off, I believe. He had an off. He just looked all out of shape as he came out of that bus stop chicane. That was Jersey Glatt taking the lead. Oh, yeah, he has. Well, Christian sent it over the curbs, running wide. So Jersey here's gone to make the move on the inside, seen the gap. Christian's gone defensive, broke himself. He's gone over the curb there. He's then had the slowdown, which has killed his pace on the exit. But I think he's put it in the barrier in turn 1 as well, if we see here. Has he put it in the wall? Oh, yes, he has.
Yeah.
Bang. Oh, Christian.
Big contact.
Trip to the wall on the exit of turn 1. Won't be doing your championship any favours if you get any damage. And Jacob Schneider and Taylor Lane are not a million miles behind him.
Oof.
So there's Jacob Schneider, and that's Taylor Lane behind that.
Yeah, Christian definitely not doing himself any favors here.
Yeah, it's not been the best.
Oh, he just did it again.
Ooh, he did.
He just totally jumped the last chicane again. Oh man, same thing in turn 1 as well.
And he's hit that barrier with a bit more force that time, and we do find this with iRacing physics. If you ever have contact on well, it was pre-build. I'm not too sure what it is now, but it was always if you had some contact on that part of the car, if you then hit it again, damage was then amplified. Clobbered the curb, too much speed, whack. Now, Christian was running in the Porsche and he's flipped to the Ferrari, and since he's gone to this Ferrari, I don't think he's had much in the way of luck or good results. He runs the Ferrari in the RSR World Series, but obviously the GTE and the GT3 are 2 very different beasts, really.
Yeah, they don't handle anything similar to each other, really, between the GTE and the GT3.
It's more, he's out of shape in the bus stop coming out of there as well. Now, Jacob Schneider's really closed up the gap.
I think Jacob's going to make short work of him here with all that damage that Christian's accrued now over the last couple laps.
you've got 3 pros for what is second position, all within under a second of each other. Jacob has a wobble under braking. Looked like he was not actually going to make a move, and then had a lock-up or snatched a brake, and then it kind of looked like he darted to the inside, but got it all back under control. Bounces across the curbs on the exit, really does run it out wide.
And Taylor Lane putting the pressure on Jacob as well. So
yeah, and Taylor could really be turning a bad night into a good one. Takes a different line through there to try and get more speed carried into the oval section.
Could we see a teammate trying to help each other here? James Howard putting some pressure on Taylor Lane. Even though James not a pro, he is teammates with Jacob Schneider, so I wonder if maybe that'll play into effect here a little bit.
Very much so, but that is looking like, oh, they are very close now.
Yep, Taylor trying to go side by side with Jacob through NASCAR 3 and 4 here, but Jacob on the inside line.
It's not going to get it.
Work the way around. Jacob making a move.
Jacob's making a move. Locks up, goes straight on.
Oof.
Oh dear. So that's given Christian had to take evasive action.
I think he's got a slowdown. Jacob had to have gotten a slowdown from running them curbs over.
Very much did. So the move was there. Outbroke himself, locked up. Christian then locked up as well. 2 guys at a slowdown, and it's all changed at the front, and that's put James Howard, what is the second car back in this train. And Taylor Lane is now out in second position. A bad night turned good for him at the minute. Get ever so close to that inside wall going up onto the banking. Again, one mistake there, and that's one place that can really end your race, because if you clip that inside wall, it will just shoot you straight up into that, what will be the outside barrier on the oval section, and they don't have a mistaken fast repair in this one, so they've got what they've got, and if they bend it, it's over. But we're going to probably see James Howard maybe dropping back a little bit to allow Jacob to get the draft, to get the run up onto Taylor Lane, as these teammates helping each other out, as Christian Furs has another little knock of the wall. Not enjoying his night in that Ferrari, that's for sure. Jeff Applegreen is on the back of William Paisley. And Jeff has made really light work of carving his way through this field. He's currently just 17 seconds back off the leader. In actual fact, he's only 7 seconds behind Taylor Lane in P2. Jersey Black has sent it on up the road. We can see Jeff's striking BMW might be making light work of Williams' black and red Porsche.
Yeah, William, I think, is giving them all he can handle, but obviously Jeff, he's got about a second in hand here, I would think, over Will.
Closes up a massive amount through the bus stop chicane in the back. Will did not have a good time through there. But I wonder if Williams doing the trick he did at Montreal, which is running a very low wing, allowing to really maximise on the straight line speed, but it could be having an effect in the slower sections of the track, which is one thing he said to us after the race at Montreal, that he was running a very, very low rear wing, giving maximum straight line speed. Jeff is looking. Jeff knows he's not there. And Will, as we've seen, does not give up a position easy. He's quite happy to defend that, and rightfully so. It's his position. He's not in any entitlement just to let Jeff have it. Cuts the line off.
William definitely driving very defensively right now and doing well.
He's got every right to. He did it at Montreal against Taylor. He did it against Jersey Glatt. He did it against Carter Hutchinson, who isn't out there tonight. Carter's moving out at the minute, so he's had all his stuff packed up.
Yeah, and when you got someone like Will Paisley, defending, a move that you're trying to make, it's not easy to get around here.
I'd say Will is running a very low rear wing or a very low downforce setup on that car, because Jeff's got absolutely nothing for him, and you can see that while he's on the banking, the gap doesn't
Will
really.
just pulls away.
Yeah, he doesn't really come down at all.
Jeff trying to get everything he can, in the corners, and he is all over the back of him again. But Jeff spins it out again.
Oh dear.
Locks it down. Doesn't hit anything. All right, come on, Jeff, get it going.
Yeah. So what happened here? Throw.
Was there a little bit of contact between them, maybe? Yes.
Oh yeah, there was. Jeff is having a brilliant night, isn't he? I think we're going to have. I think we're going to set up some sort of counselling session after tonight for all the people that have had really bad evenings. I think Taylor Lane's had a great race in race 1. Jacob Scheider's had a good night in race 1. Jeff Applegreen's had a lousy night in race 1 as well. Mind you, he managed to get it to a good position-ish in the end, but now after the shenanigans on the first lap and what's just happened, all the hard work he's done is pretty much down the toilet because he's now dropped potentially what would be 2 spots.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have the time to recover now either. We're coming, into the closing minutes here.
Wow, something's happened to Christian Furs because Christian's dropped down the order massively. What has happened to him? Oh, he's put a message out. He's just sent me a message to say he's never been disqualified for having damage before. So is this something that, again, that we don't know about, they've introduced if he's had damage? I know if you have a meatball flag, and I'm pretty sure if you cross the line with the meatball flag, it disqualifies you from the race, but I've never found it to...
Are they not... Well, I wouldn't think they would take the meatball flag away, but then still qualify you.
I don't know. But he's out of the race, and interesting. So that might be something else to look out for in future races, but what a night. James Howard on the back of Taylor Lane, not for position, but just shows the pace that James has got. And Taylor did say before this race started that he wasn't looking too comfortable, but he's managed to keep Jersey Glatt within sort of 11 seconds, so that gap hasn't really fluctuated at all. He's always been around the 10-second mark, and it will be it requires, well, what Taylor will be thinking is a miracle, but probably Jersey a mistake to put him in any contention for the win of this race. But we do see Jeff Applegreen is now well and truly got Tom Moustakis in his sights. Is Tom going to make Jeff's life hard work? And that will be for 5th position. So Jeff is coming up onto Tom. He's going to be getting the run on the straights. He's just about 8 tenths behind. And again, I wonder if that BMW just isn't that good in a straight line at the minute, because he doesn't seem to be able to really get people. Like you see the Corvettes catching the draft and they really close up, but Jeff doesn't really get anything here.
Yeah, it seems to be lacking, the power up out of the corner that really it's been known for on iRacing. So,
there's always the thing that it was the quickest car in a straight line.
Yeah,
when it first came out, and it was an absolute, if you were in anything else, and I ran the BMW for a period of time, but it was never my go-to car. It was always a case where the BMW was a monster in a straight line and a bit of a waggy-tailed beast in the corners, but it's kind of done the reverse because Jeff looks much quicker. Tom lets him go with ease there, so there's no hardship. I think it was only a matter of time, even though we are this late in the race, that Jeff would be making a move, and Tom's exercising the knowledge of it's probably better let him go than let him make a move and probably cost both of them. But
yeah,
back to that M8, I think it is, it's always been the go-to car if you want straight line speed, but in this instance it hasn't. I don't think it's particularly got a lot on it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something that they changed with the build. I wonder if they changed the BOP on it, bring it back, a little bit, maybe a little too much from the looks of it.
Oh, Jeff!
Oh, wow!
He gets that wrong. Wow.
Tried to go four-wheeling through the last chicane there.
That's going to have that's going to have upset his car. We are on the white flag lap, but let's have a little look here as to what happened to Jeff Applegreen as he. Oh, what was he doing? Just leathered them.
Yeah.
Absolutely leathers up the sausage curbs, scratching every bit of metal underneath that car.
Jersey Glack out of the backstretch chicane, making his way through NASCAR 3 and 4. He will be getting the checkered flag this time by.
He will.
So he brings it down into the final chicane here. Just nice and tidy.
Yeah.
And Jersey, a little touch of the wall there at the checkered flag. But
there you go, Jersey
Glack.
Glack
For him.
Yeah, double winner tonight. Locks out race 1 and 2. Taylor Lane brings it home in position 2, which, considering where he thought his night was going to be going, is not a bad end result for him.
No.
And I think through the field.
Yep, James Howard, double winner for him tonight as well.
Very much so. It's been a nice, easy night for James and Jersey. So there we see Taylor Lane bringing it back round to go into the pits. So we're going to talk you through the race result, which is Andrew Hewson apparently took the win, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. So we're going to ignore that, and we're going to go from Jersey Glack. So Jersey Glack was position 1, takes the win in race 2. Taylor Lane second, and then we got the lead AM, or the winner of AM, was James Howard, followed by Jacob Schneider in P4 overall. Position 2, or P5, position 2 in AM was Lyden Lee. And you got William Paisley, Daniel Tenorio, Jeff Applegreen, Tom Moustakis, and Stephen Martinez lead out your top 10. Eric Kaluga finished 11th. Greg Edney in 12th. Michael Kaluga in 13th. Joe Jr. 14th. Carl Fredrickson 15th. John Casey 16th. Derek Dennis came across the line in 17th. Christian Furs, with whatever happened to Christian, in 18th. 19th was Mark Scott. And then was Andrew Hewson with that disconnect going to the green flag, unfortunately, to put him into last position. Real shame. Well, Casey, what an evening it has been. It's been a catalogue of inconveniences, I think is the word I'm going to go with. Little hurdles is probably the one. Yeah, I think it was just a fantastic racing. Let's not bring it away from that. Once again, these guys have done a great job of having some respect out there. There's been a bit of contact. There always has been. More contact with each individual having their moment towards the barrier than each other. Yeah. But I think that's, it's frustrating, but the nice thing is, it's never a nice thing about ruining your race, but at least you've done it on your own and you haven't died by the hand of somebody else, which is always a little bit more of a bitter pill to swallow. So, the only issue we really saw was Jeff Applegreen having that moment with Tom Moustakis at the start of race 2. Was it Tom's fault? Was it Jeff's fault? I think, you could arguably say it's early in the race, we're making that move, but the same again, Jeff started down the pecking order and had, he's got to be trying to make his way through and do the best that he can in that situation. So, final thoughts from you, Casey?
No, some, great racing. Like you said, we really didn't see any contact between, the drivers in race 2, except for that incident with Jeff and Tom Moustakis, like you alluded to. A lot of the problems that we saw were just kind of self-inflicted, and I said it at the beginning of the broadcast. You really got to respect the curbs here, and they did end up biting quite a few people. So, Christian Furs among them. Yeah, we saw him do it several times, really. So,
as you say that, Christian puts a note in our in the chat to say this car's got to go. Now, are we going to see a move away from the Ferrari? He did not. I'll be honest with you, he's not looked happy in that car since he went to it. I think he had much more consistency in the Porsche, and he's got to be asking if he's made the right move.
He had that one decent run in it at Montreal last week, and I think that's all the success that he's had with that car so far. So,
yeah, indeed. But next week we are at Mid-Ohio, which is a bit more open, a bit more fast-paced, a bit more sweeping, but a lot of undulations with that track. It's a lot of up and down sections. But I think
a lot of elevation, a lot of speed. You carry a lot of speed through those corners, so that's really going to be something to keep an eye on next week.
Well, the next couple of weeks really, because after that we're at Road America, and that's another fast. After Mid-Ohio we're at Road America, which is another fast sort of sweeping track. Then Laguna Seca, which is a little bit more tight, but still quite a fast sweeping track. So next 3 rounds, they're going to be more open, more enjoyable, I'd say. But Rob, if you're still alive and still with us, you're more than welcome to do your sign off. Thank you very much from me and Casey. We've had a testing night, but we've got there in the end, eh?
Got there in the end. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. As always, if you like the stream, hit the like button, favorite, and subscribe. Consider becoming a member on the YouTube channel. We still have yet to find one that'll become a member for us, so how about you be the first one? Follow us on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Until next week, where are we next week? Let me just
Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio. So join us for another round at Mid-Ohio. But until then, guys, take care and enjoy yourselves.